Alright, what's going on, guys? Boy TG, welcome back to another video. So in this video, going to be giving out our predictions for the Eastern Conference for the 2024-2025 NHL season. So this video will be Eastern Conference, and the next video I do will be Western Conference. First thing first, before we get into this video, I just want to say a few things. Going to start off with Johnny Gaudreau and Matthew Gaudreau's passing. So RIP to them. They were riding their bikes out in New Jersey before their sister's wedding until the drunk driver had hit them. Obviously, drinking and driving is not good, and you shouldn't drink anyway, regardless. And that person just happened to be in a hurry. He was drinking. I think one article said he had like 5-6 shots of beer. And he was very intoxicated, and he had killed Johnny and Matthew Gaudreau. Johnny Gaudreau, as you know, he played 11 seasons in the NHL for the Calgary Flames and, of course, the Columbus Blue Jackets. A 7-time NHL All-Star, and he was known for his amazing hockey IQ, his playmaking ability. He had all the talent, all the skills, everything displayed was called he had, and he was nicknamed Johnny Hockey for a reason. He played college hockey at Boston College, I believe. I believe it was Boston College. I remember that goal all too well. So, yeah, that goal that he scored in 2012. So, obviously, they're going to be missed, and my condolences go out to the entire Gaudreau family, the NHL, Calgary Flames, the Columbus Blue Jackets organization, and anybody else that will be affected by this loss. So if you're thinking about drinking, please don't go ahead and go driving. So that's all I wanted to say. Another thing that I wanted to say was I know I haven't been doing a video for a long time. It's not a lot of hockey going on as of right now. So that's why this is my first time in like a month or a while that I'm doing a video. But anyway, we are going to get right into it. So I'm going to start off with the Metropolitan Division. So number one, I got the New York Rangers. Put it on slideshow so you guys can see the lines up. So despite the New York Rangers losing the Eastern Conference Finals last season, they are a great team. They're still a great team to watch. They won the President's Trophy last season. Still a great team. They added Riley Smith to the lineup. Of course, he was a Stanley Cup champion with the Vegas Golden Knights. So as you see right here, he's on that first line with Chris Kreider and Mika Zibanejad. So they didn't really change too much. I still believe this New York Rangers team can make a run for it. They can finish first place in their division. I don't know about President's Trophy like they did last year, but the defense is not bad either. Of course, they got Ryan Lindgren, Adam Fox, Keandre Miller, Jacob Trouba, Zach Jones, Braden Schneider. Of course, I love the top two pair better of Ryan Lindgren, Adam Fox, Keandre Miller, Jacob Trouba. Of course, Jacob Trouba is a big body out there to watch out on the ice. And, of course, he's the team captain of the New York Rangers, so he's going to get it done for his team. So, therefore, I had the New York Rangers finishing first in the division. Up next, we got the Carolina Hurricanes. So, of course, they lost Teuvo Teravainen to my Chicago Blackhawks. P.S. I love to see him back in Chicago. Of course, he won Stanley Cup championship with us before leaving Carolina. That was in 2015. And, of course, they lost Jay Gensel to Tampa Bay Lightning. They actually traded him to Tampa, so he's going to be joining Tampa Bay Lightning. Despite that, they have a great offense and defense. Of course, we all know that Seth Jarvis has signed that 8-year deal contract. The goaltending is great. They still got Pyotr Kochetkov in net. They still got Freddie Anderson in net. They added Jack Roslovic from Columbus, William Carrier from Vegas, and a lot of more assets. Of course, you see that they added Dmitry Orlov right there and Shane Gostisbehere. So some of these players may have been acquired by the trade deadline from last season, or they've been picked up in free agency. So I still believe the Carolina Hurricanes, despite losing Teuvo Teravainen and Jay Gensel, they still have a great group. Excuse me. They still have a great group, and also I believe that they'll be able to finish second place in the Metropolitan Division. Number three, I got the New Jersey Devils. So, of course, the Devils missed out on the playoffs last season. Very shocking to me, to be honest, because I thought this would be a team that will be a playoff team last year. Heading into the 2023-2024 NHL season, I thought this would be a team that will be a playoff team last season, but obviously that was not the case. We all know they fired their head coach, Lindy Ruff. He's now the coach of the Sabres. So they named Sheldon Keefe as the head coach. Of course, you all know that he coached the Leafs, and he also coached the AHL team, the Toronto Marlies. And Jeremy Colleton, who I should know very well because he used to coach the Blackhawks, he's now the assistant head coach for the New Jersey Devils. And the Devils also added Jacob Markstrom, Jake Allen. They got Tomas Tatar back. Of course, he played with New Jersey before. He's playing with them again. And they have some young talent on their roster. So they got Nico Hischier, Jack Hughes, who's just fun to watch. Of course, his brother Luke Hughes on the D pair right there. So not in all a bad team. I actually do love the team. I actually love how they got out and got Jacob Markstrom because that could be a huge asset for their goaltending situation. Ever since they traded, let's see, Capo Kakinen, I think he went to San Jose, or I don't know what team's on, but I think he used to play for New Jersey, along with Minnesota as well. But I just really think the goaltending really helped out the Devils, and they should be able to make a run for the playoffs this season and finish third in the division. Number four, I got the Pittsburgh Penguins. So this may shock you guys kind of a little bit because you may be thinking, why does he have the Penguins finishing fourth in the division? I don't get that at all. Well, let me tell you this. They added Rutger McGroarty. Excuse me if I didn't pronounce his name right. Signed a 3-year contract deal. So, of course, he was acquired in the trade with the Winnipeg Jets. Of course, the Penguins traded Braden Yeager over to Winnipeg. They also added Anthony Beauvillier from Nashville. They added Kevin Hayes. They added Cody Glass from Vegas. Well, I think he was on Nashville too, but I think he played for Vegas. They added Matt Grzelcyk from the Boston Bruins and a few more other players. Of course, they still got Nedeljkovic and Tristan Jarry in goal, who are still great, solid goaltenders to watch. And as you see right here, Rutger McGroarty is going to be on that second line with Genny Malkin and Michael Bunting. So he's going to be really fun to watch when he makes his NHL debut. And I believe the Penguins could possibly, I'm not saying that they're a playoff contender, but they could possibly or maybe somehow being a playoff team come this season. Of course, they missed out on the playoffs last year. Of course, I think that was the first time that I have seen a playoffs without both Sidney Crosby and Alex Ovechkin, because we're used to them being in the playoffs at the same time. Of course, the Penguins missed out last year. Capitals made it last year, but the Penguins could possibly make a run to the Stanley Cup playoffs with this group. Number five, I got the New York Islanders. So, of course, the Islanders made the playoffs last year. They were eliminated from the first round by Carolina. They added Anthony Duclair, so that's one key player that I know that they added during the offseason and during free agency. So the goaltending is great. I do like that they had Ilya Sorokin and Varlamov is still on the team. So Sorokin's not bad. I just don't see the Islanders being a playoff team heading into this season. They were a playoff team last season. I don't think it's going to happen again. So that's why I have them finishing fifth in the division. Number six, I got the Philadelphia Flyers. So, of course, the Flyers was another team that missed out on the playoffs last season. Of course, they added Matei Michikov. I think he played in the KHL in Russia. Jamie Drysdale, who they picked up in the trade deadline, or they picked up in a trade last year with the Anaheim Ducks. He's going to be playing his first full season with Philly. Of course, they got Cam York and Travis Sanheim, so that's not a bad first defensive pair. But the other defensive pairs are very solid. They're not as good, but it's solid. And I don't think I could see the Flyers like being a playoff team heading into the 2024-2025 NHL season. So that's why I have been finishing in sixth place. Number 7, I got the Washington Capitals. They made the playoffs last year. They actually got swept by the New York Rangers in the first round. I don't think they're going to be a playoff team this year. They did trade away Darcy Kemper over to LA, or probably the Kings got him in free agency. By the way, he's on the Kings now. He's not on the Capitals. So they got Charlie Lindgren in net, who I don't know can do very much. I know Alex Ovechkin still trying to trace that goal record of Wayne Gretzky's. I think 894 career goals from Wayne Gretzky, if I'm not mistaken. They did add Pierre-Luc Dubois, Logan Thompson as their backup. So, of course, Logan Thompson, he won a Stanley Cup with Vegas. They added Andrew Mangiapane for the Calgary Flames. And on defense, they added Jacob Chikrin. So, offense is solid, but it's not as good as the other teams in the Eastern Conference or Western Conference. Defense, I really do love that top pair. The top pair is not bad. The second pair and third pair is very solid, but it's not as good. So that's why I have the Capitals finishing 7th in division. They're not going to be a playoff team heading into the season, but I will love to see Alex Ovechkin beat that goal record of Wayne Gretzky's. I think it would be something iconic to watch. If it does happen, I know he's getting older and stuff, but I'm just really hoping that he breaks that goal record. That would be very huge, and that would be an iconic moment to watch. Number 8, I got the Columbus Blue Jackets, and like I said at the start of this video, RIP to Johnny Gaudreau and his brother Matthew Gaudreau. Got in a bike accident, riding bikes in New Jersey, and then the idiot drunk driver had hit them. So RIP to both of them. They will be missed. They will be missed. Blue Jackets in general, they're sort of in a rebuilding phase. So they still got some great talent on their team too, like Adam Fantilli, and then they got Boquist on defense. So I don't think they'll make the playoffs. They won't be a playoff team heading to the 2024-2025 NHL season. I think they finished last place in their division last year. I think it'll be the same result this year. Atlantic Division. So first, we got the Florida Panthers. You guys know I was going to choose the Florida Panthers. So the Stanley Cup champs. First Stanley Cup win in franchise history. They beat the Edmonton Oilers in 7 games last hockey season. They did lose key players such as Brandon Montour. He went over to the Seattle Kraken. Vladimir Tarasenko, he went over to the Detroit Red Wings. And Oliver Ekman-Larsson, he went over to the Toronto Maple Leafs. But despite that, they're still a great team to watch, and I do believe that they'll be able to finish first place in their division. So I don't know if they'll repeat as Stanley Cup champions. That will be something to look forward to if it does happen. So, yeah, I got the Florida Panthers finishing first in the division. Up next, I got the Toronto Maple Leafs. So, of course, as you guys don't know, Austin Matthews is the new captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs. It happened this offseason, so I can't wait to watch him in his first season with the C on his jersey. Of course, John Tavares had gave it up. He's going to be playing on that first line with Matthew Knies and Mitch Marner. So the Leafs offense, I really do like their offense. That is not a bad offense from the Toronto Maple Leafs. I really do love it, especially the top 2 lines. I think the top 2 lines are just nasty. They should go off for sure. So those first 2 pairs are not bad. But the offense in general is really solid. I mean, this is a great offense as well. Of course, Max Domi's on the team. Of course, his father, Ty Domi, used to play for the Toronto Maple Leafs. So I really do love that Leafs offense. The defense isn't bad either. With the addition of Oliver Ekman-Larsson, of course, Chris Tannen, which they got from the Dallas Stars. That should really strengthen the D pair, of course, with Morgan Riley. So the defense isn't bad either. I love their defense. I love their offense. They should be able to finish second place in their division. Up next, we got the Boston Bruins. Of course, they lost Jake DeBrusk to the Vancouver Canucks, but they did add Elias Lindholm and Nikita Sadorov, who used to play for the Vancouver Canucks. So as you think about it, it's kind of like a little trade. Jonas Korpisalo is their backup goalie, so of course Linus Ullmark is now with the Ottawa Senators, and I kind of did hate that despite me not being a Bruins fan because I always love seeing the goalie hug between Linus Ullmark and Jeremy Swayman after games, especially when they were at home and they would win their like home games and they would do the big goalie hug. They used to do that after games and stuff. Now they're probably not going to be doing it anymore since Linus Ullmark's not on the team. So I'm assuming that Jeremy Swayman will be the starting goalie, and like I said already, Jonas Korpisalo is the backup. But the Bruins did finish second place in the division last year. They were 47, 20, and 15 with 109 points of the year. This was a tough one to choose between Boston and Toronto, but you guys probably think, oh, I think he should have chose Boston considering that Boston is way better than Toronto. I do agree with you on that, but something just told me that Toronto will finish second place in the division and then the Bruins will finish third, but still going to be playoff teams though, and should see another round with Boston, Toronto, with the Bruins coming out on top like they always do. Number 4, I got the Detroit Red Wings. So I believe the Detroit Red Wings will be a playoff team. Now, last season they were this close. I don't know if you guys can see me, but they were this close to being a playoff team last season. This close. See, look at my hand. They were this close to being a playoff team last season, but then the Flyers had to go and mess it up, and therefore ruining the chances of the Red Wings. Not only themselves making the playoffs, but the Red Wings missing out on the playoffs last season. And despite me being a Blackhawks fan, I absolutely love watching the Red Wings, mostly because they got Patrick Kane and Alex DeBrincat on the team. So, and of course, they used to play for the Blackhawks together. They used to play like, I believe, 5 seasons with each other on the Blackhawks. So, even though they're on Detroit, I still love watching them. And I believe that this team will be a playoff team come next season. You better believe it. They could be a surprising team, I would say. I would say that they'll be a surprising team. Um, I think going into the 2023-2024 season, last year, I had the Sabres being a surprise team. This season, I'm picking the Red Wings to be a surprising team, but the Sabres do have a young core with a lot of talent on the team. So, but this year, I'm picking Detroit as my surprising team. But they finished 5th place in the division last season. They were 41, 32, and 9 with 91 points of the year. I think if they would have won that game and then if the Capitals lost that game last year, to the Flyers, and if the Red Wings won that game against Montreal, then the Red Wings would have been a playoff team. Because we haven't seen playoff hockey in Detroit since 2016, and I think that was Pavel Datsyuk's last season with the Red Wings. So we haven't seen playoff hockey since then in Detroit. Would love to see it come back, despite the Red Wings not playing at Joe Louis Arena anymore, which that arena was so loud on its feet. Like every time you would when it was Red Wings playoff hockey, that arena will be loud. It will be like an electrifying arena, like one of the arenas that I know that is so loud when it comes to Red Wings playoff hockey or playoff hockey in general, besides the United Center and, of course, Madison Square Garden. That's another one of them. But anyway, they added Vladimir Tarasenko, they added Eric Gustafson, they added Cam Talbot. They did have David Perron on the team, but they lost him to the Ottawa Senators. So I believe that the Red Wings will still have a chance to be a playoff team. They had almost were a playoff team last season. I believe this season they refreshed, they cooled off. They'll be a playoff team this year. They did lose James Reimer to the Buffalo Sabres, so I think Alex Lynn will probably get to start. I'm not sure who will be the starting goalie for Detroit. We will just have to see for that. Number 5, this may shock a lot of you, but I got the Tampa Bay Lightning finishing 5th place in the division. Now, I know some of you guys are probably thinking, why does he have Detroit over Tampa? I just explained why I had Detroit finishing 4th place in the division. Now, I'm going to tell you guys why I have Tampa in 5th. This will be the Steven Stamkos post era because, of course, Steven Stamkos signed as a free agent to the Nashville Predators, which is probably my second favorite team to watch. Not because they signed Steven Stamkos, but I know some people have been asking me, Taj, you had to have a second favorite team besides the Chicago Blackhawks. Who would it be? And I would say either the Nashville Predators or Detroit Red Wings. I do love watching the Predators as well, despite me being a Blackhawks fan. You guys know I'm a huge Blackhawks fan. Excuse me. I'm a huge Blackhawks fan. I've been a Blackhawks fan since day one. Um, but I also love watching Nashville as well. I think they're another really great team. And of course, I do love watching Detroit, but mostly, you guys know I'm going to be watching my Chicago Blackhawks because that's my favorite team. I really don't have a second favorite team, but if I did have one, it would probably be the Predators or the Red Wings. But anyway, I have Tampa in 5th because it's the first time that they're going to be without Steven Stamkos. They still have great talent on the team. They added Jay Genso from Carolina. They added Cam Atkinson from Philly. They got Ryan McDonough back from Nashville. And they still have a great team despite losing their captain, Steven Stamkos. Now, I'm not sure who will be the team captain this year, but we'll just have to see. I don't think that they could. Well, maybe they'll be as good as Detroit. I'll just say that. They'll probably prove me wrong and be better than Detroit. And if they do, not a shock because they still have a lot of talent on their team. But something just tells me the Red Wings will be able to make that run to the playoffs. Like we will see playoff hockey back in Detroit for the first time since 2016. Now, the Lightning, they possibly will make the playoffs still without Steven Stamkos. They can possibly do it. They still had the talent. If Andre Vasilevsky is healthy and he's back in his Vezina trophy for, I don't even know if he won a Vezina. He probably did. I'm not really sure. But if he goes back into his prime, the same goalie that won 2 Stanley Cups with the Tampa Bay Lightning in 2020 and 2021, if he goes back in his prime and stuff like that, we could see Tampa in the playoffs. But as of right now, I'm not sure if there'll be a playoff team without Steven Stamkos. We would just have to see. They still got a lot of talent, though, but I just feel like Detroit will probably be the better team as for right now. But we'll just have to see heading on into the season. But I have Tampa in 5th, finishing 5th place in the division. Number 6, I got the Buffalo Sabres. So I got the Sabres finishing 6th place in the division. They did finish 6th place in the division last year. They were 39, 37, and 6 with 84 points. Now, I mentioned already that the Sabres have a great young core. Look at all that talent. They got a 40-goal scorer in Tage Thompson. They got some young talent on their offense like Dylan Cousins, Jack Quinn, Zach Benson can really tear it up. We did see his first NHL goal against the Capitals. He went between the legs. So he's a kid that can really do something. They did get Ryan McLeod from Edmonton, so they got some talent on their offense. Excuse me. Defense, they got Bo Byram, Rasmus Dahlin, so they got some talent on the D pair. So I really do love the D pair. The D pair all around for the Sabres is not bad. Absolutely love it. Bo Byram, of course, who was acquired in the trade deadline, the Colorado Avalanche. He's going to be playing his first full season with the Buffalo Sabres. They did lose Jeff Skinner and Victor Olofsson, but like I mentioned already, they added Ryan McLeod, Sam Lafferty, Jason Zucker. The goaltending isn't bad either. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, 27, 22, and 4. The 2.57 goals against average and a .910 save percentage. So the goaltending isn't bad. I absolutely love the goaltending. James Reimer, of course, this was his stats with the Red Wings last season. 11, 8, and 2 with a 3.11 goals against average and a .904 save percentage. Of course, Devin Levi got some playing time in the NHL. Of course, he's been in the AHL most of the time. He was 10, 8, and 2 with a 3.10 goals against average and a .899 save percentage. So not bad. I absolutely love the Sabres. That's why I had them as a surprising team last season. They still got the talent. They got the core. We haven't seen playoff hockey in Buffalo in like what? I don't even know how long the playoff drought is for the Buffalo Sabres, but I know they have the longest playoff drought in NHL history, possibly in sports history. But I don't see a bad. But despite that, I don't see a bad team in the Buffalo Sabres. I see a great young team. They still got a lot of talent. If they can just get over that hump, and if Lindy Ruff can be rough, no pun intended, if they can be like rough, if he can be like rough on his team, and the Sabres can get over that hump, I can assure you that they'll be a playoff team. But as of right now, they're not. Despite the talent that they have. That is a lot of talent I see on the Sabres. But I just don't see them making it into the playoffs as of right now. But who knows? Like I said, I had them as a surprising team last season. They could be a surprising team this season. Who knows? Number 7, I got the Ottawa Senators. So, of course, they finished 7th place in the division last season with a 37-41-4 record with 78 points. They added David Perron and Linus Ullmark on the team now. So, I'm not really seeing that much from Ottawa. So, that's why I have them finishing 7th place in the division. So not really that much to see. Of course, some great players that they have on the team is Brady Tkachuk, Tim Stuso, Claude Giroux. Really do love this first line, though. Not a bad first line. It's actually a great first line, I would say. The second line isn't as bad either. But then after that, it's just like, I don't know. So that's why I had them finishing 7th in their division. And number 8, got the Montreal Canadiens. So, of course, like I was saying for the Buffalo Sabres, the Canadiens got some young talent too. They actually got some big guys on the team as well with Juraj Slavkovsky and the acquisition of Patrick Laine. Of course, they got from the Columbus Blue Jackets. They got Kirby Dach on the team who's out with an injury. But they do got some young talent as well, like Nick Suzuki, Cole Caulfield. And you look at this defensive pair. Lane Hudson is on the team. But I don't see them as a playoff team. You guys already know that. Had them finishing last place in the Atlantic Division. All right, guys, so I'm going to stop right there for now. So, of course, the next video will be my standings for the Western Conference. I just wanted to show you guys my standings for the Eastern Conference. So let me know what you guys think of these. Do you agree with them? Do you disagree with them? Did anyone shock you in particular? Because I know some of them had to shock you in particular. But let me know what you guys think of my predictions down in the comments. And that's going to do it for this video, guys. So if you enjoyed this video, hit it with a like. Hit it with a subscribe button. And like I said, my next video will be on NHL standings for the Western Conference. And yeah, I will see you guys next time.